I mean, I don't think men were ever monogamous. We are programmed to be monogamous. That's why it gets confusing with vocabulary. So when you start understanding and opening your mind to a whole world of what the world really is rather than the tunnel vision of what they told you it is.
Welcome, everyone. We are back. We are here, eight at the table. We are here doing Guy Talk. I am Disco Dave, aka Emo Man. I got my guy here, Alex Porter, in the building.
Appreciate you.
Rico Hondo. Happy belated birthday, brother.
Thank
I
you.
got Esso, and we're here to discuss, are men really walking away from monogamy? I ain't gonna go to you first because you've been walked away from monogamy a long time ago. It seems like 8 years, right? It's been 8 years. You walked away from it. You left it alone. You left it back there. You was like, I'm not dealing with just you. We're gonna deal with all of y'all. Okay? So
He was ahead of the game. Listen, he was ahead of the
I
game.
don't know if I was ever technically monogamous until I got with my wife, technically. You know what I'm saying? But
okay.
when I had given up on it completely was after me and my daughter's mother broke up. And I was just like, yo, my father came to my crib one day when my mother went away. And we stayed in the crib and we barbecued inside the garage. We drank champagne. I smoked my bud and everything. And I remember turning to him saying, like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I miss people being, you know what I'm saying? I miss the family being inside the house. And he was like, yo, well, you living the American dream right now. He's like, it's no offense. I love you and all, and you my man, and I love your mom, but what you got going on right here is the American dream. You can do whatever you want. You can go wherever you want. Can no woman have no hold on you. It's no limits to what you want to be, and you can calm down when you want to calm down. And you don't have any kids attached because, you know, when you're a single father, the mother normally takes the kid with them. So you got less responsibilities for the kid too. Technically, you got to pay your money, you got weekends, you got weekdays and stuff like that. But you got a lot of freedom that's attached to what you got going on. And that's when I had, like, I'm not gonna lie, like every single day I had a different girl. Like Mondays, if she was working, then this was the girl that I was always with on Mondays because she's working. Tuesdays work for this girl and she's a nurse. If she don't got no schedule, she's Wednesday or Thursday. That's how I just was rocking. You know what I'm saying?
How old were you at this time?
About 32.
Oh, this was last year.
No, before my wife.
Oh, okay. Let's get that right.
I was about 32, 33 when me and my daughter's mother was like, yo, it's done. And I had to refine myself. And my mother talked to me and she said, you never been without a woman since you was 13 years old, a girl, woman, companionship, or whatever. She was like, now's the time for you to find yourself. Learn who you are, and if you can learn to be by yourself and enjoy yourself, you're unstoppable. And that's what I set out to do. You know what I'm saying? Find myself, enjoy myself. I started going to movies by myself. I started purposely spending time with myself and doing things
I think that's a sad thing. I do that all the time.
That I wanted to do. I went to basketball games by myself. Like, I smoked all my weed by myself. I didn't even care about being around nobody, and I enjoyed it.
Most of the homies like smoking the weed by themselves anyway.
Now, because it's Corona. You know what I'm saying?
So let's go to you, Alex, because you know you're the opposite side of the spectrum when it comes to this. Like, you walked away from monogamy, and I don't know now. Is that considered now being with two women, like
double
monogamous
monogamy?
again, like a double monogamy, like
no,
that?
of course it's
Poly.
It's poly. It's
They call it poly.
polygamy. But you put consensual non-monogamy. Well, really non-monogamy because even monogamy should be consensual unless you're cheating, right? But at the end of the day, it's everything that you said. You can't still really find yourself. You really can't really put yourself in a space and be transparent of who you are. It's not as easy as people make it seem. Now, our man walking away from poly, walking away from monogamy, due to the fact that they're in love with the idea of you can have multiple partners. But they don't understand the structure and the responsibilities that come within those situations. So it is situations where you have to find yourself, start to understand yourself, know what you want, know what you align with. You know, and when you find yourself in those spaces and know how to at least be transparent with your partners and the people that you're involved with in the relationship, you know how to show up for those relationships. And of course, the women love that. But is it a man's idea? No, it's the women's idea. They actually present that. They actually open up that because they rather deal with a man that's going to be transparent, honest with them, so they know who they dealing with and what's going on. You know what I mean? Than actually playing games with those that claim to be monogamous and move in disguised intent.
Is transparency the main ingredient to this polygamy?
Non-monogamous, yeah, definitely transparency, honesty. At the end of the day, knowing yourself, knowing at the end of the day, real quick, knowing at the end of the day what you align with, knowing at the end of the day this is what you want to show up for. So if I sit here and I want to deal with two women, I have to understand those relationships with those women. I have to understand those women. I have to understand what I'm signing up for, knowing how I got to show up for this relationship. Because even though it's plural, there's still individual relationships regardless.
Correct. But what got you to the point where you felt the need to walk away? Like, was you in a bad relationship and it was just you and this female, and then that didn't work and you just got tired of it, and then another girl came by, you was like, yo, listen, you like her and we could do this together. Like, what happened that pushed you away from that put you?
What was the process? My process wasn't good though. That's the crazy thing. My process was horrible. I cheated. So at the end of the day,
so you didn't know how to not be a cheater. So you figured, let me get to it up.
No, I found it easier to escape. I was escaping my relationship instead of handling responsibility.
So you can't cheat on those two girls with a third girl now?
Yeah, I can. But that's due to the fact that, I love what Esso said. You work on yourself. I had to work on myself in that situation. When I caused a situation to betray my wife, I betrayed the trust. At the end of the day, I lost what we had at that moment and at that point. So I had to maneuver in a different space. Yeah, she opened up the opportunity to sit there and say, well, if this is who you are and this is what you identify as, I'm open to the idea. But she had to grieve who I once was when I did the betrayal.
But let me ask you a question. Let me ask him a question about this.
I'm ready for this.
Once you got caught in all of that, right? That's when the conversation got started about you being able to be with her and the other women at that time?
No, it's crazy, right? We had joked about it before. So I knew she was.
She was joking. You wasn't.
Yeah, well, yeah. Look, no, lightly with it. Fact though. But you know what I mean, lightly with it. Mm-hmm. And then when the whole situation happened, and then she was like, "Well, we talked about it, whatever. So let's go ahead and venture into this and see how it goes." Yeah, I was kind of shocked. I'm not gonna lie, like, oh shit, this joke that we was playing with, whatever, it's becoming something serious. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't show up in the ways that I was showing up before. Like I said, that was an escape. At the end of the day, my relationship wasn't going where I wanted it to go. So what did I do in a selfish way? I said, fuck it. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to bring the conversation to it. I'm over this, you know what I mean? But I'm still in love with this woman. But I'm going to go in a selfish way and maneuver and find something that's going to be my peace. And I found someone that was my peace, my escape. And then when we transferred into a real relationship, then everything switched.
Talking about with the two.
Yeah. Then it was like, because I had to bring everybody together.
What was the problem? I was about to ask you that, bro.
Yeah.
Once you got the main woman basically down with it, what was your approach with the other chick that was your side chick at the time?
Well, she was aware, right? So it was kind of easy, and she was open to the idea already because I was keeping everything thorough with her, off what was going on.
Everybody keeps it thorough with the side chick.
And what's crazy, right? And that's what makes it exciting about the side chick, because you get to be your unofficial, you get to be your official self. You get that unconditional acceptance. You get that unconditional acceptance due to the fact that you put yourself in a monogamous relationship with this individual, and as we evolve as individuals, now when it's time to change, we don't want to show the person we started the relationship with or the marriage with who we are at this point. Who you are at 20, you're not at 30. Who you are at 30, you're not at 40. Mm-hmm. But you can't present that, or you feel that you can't present that to the person that you got with at 20.
Let me ask you a question, though. So now you had one chick, you played her dirty, then you had a side chick. Now you got the...
There you go, do it like that.
Whatever. Listen, you cheating. Well, I'm just saying. That's what you said earlier. Listen. Whatever. You had one chick, and now you got two.
Yeah.
Have you played with a third?
No, I know.
But that must be crazy having two in your ear like this. Like, what you doing? And the other one, that's a lot.
That's what's because you take on the relationship responsibility. So you start to understand to maneuver in a different space and knowing how you need to show up for each relationship. I know my capacity. When I started, like I said, you study yourself, you find yourself. When you start looking at things within yourself, you start understanding what you can take on, how you can show up. And I know my capacity is just with the two women that I'm engaged with, that I'm involved with. I don't need nothing else outside of that. And I understood from the show that I caused, man, look, I know.
Sure about that?
I know. Look, it was crazy, out there. But see, now understand it. I'm talking about showing up for the relationship. Can I have sexual engagements with more women? Are you serious? I have 30-30. I'll go 30-31. How many days in the month? But how can I show up for these women in the relationship? It's going to look different. Now I'm dealing with emotions. Now I'm dealing with bad days. Now I'm dealing with good days. Now I'm dealing with time management.
With 2, you don't think you could do it with 3?
No, because your time
Or does it
management.
stop?
Your time, and then you still got to show up as a father. You still got to be a father to your children. You still got to show up for yourself because you got to have that self love. If I ain't filling up my own cup, I can't pour into others. So now if I'm actually taking on more, right, it's going to look different. Now understand, this is the difference a lot of times that people got to understand because we put ourselves in a position to polygamy, right? Polygamy is a setup where it's also kind of a survival kind of thing. The old days it was survival. So you put yourself in a position, this person's going to play this role, this person's going to play this role, and the king, he's going to go out and do what he needs to do to make sure the household's held down. Now when you put yourself in a polyamorous relationship, now we're looking at partnership. You could do solo poly. I don't need your finances to combine with my finances. I have my household. I'm gonna move my own autonomy.
Solo poly?
Yeah, solo poly. I can move my own autonomy.
So many
I'm
words to
going
this.
to. Yeah, there's different formats.
His vocabulary is immaculate with this.
You have to because if you're gonna confuse these chicks, you gotta be good with that. You gotta be like,
Nah.
it's to the point they be like, yo, I give up. Yo, we're all yours. We're all yours.
It's crazy, It's not even confusing.
Oh, wait, hold on. What the hell is solo poly?
So
bro?
solo poly is a person that's going to move in their own space. They're mainly their main person who they're engaged with. They love to say that they're in a relationship with self. They're the priority.
With the mirror.
But
Okay.
but not like with the mirror. But they understand that they tell every partner they're engaged with that they have other partners. They move with their own autonomy. They don't, and then sometimes you got to understand people, even if they're monogamous, they don't believe in the relationship escalator. Now, what say you're monogamous and you're dealing with a woman that doesn't believe in boyfriend, girlfriend, and then fiance, the fiance joint, and then marriage. They just believe that, what relationships are. They're relationship anarchists. Like, these are terms that actually exist in how people maneuver. So these are things that you have to learn in spaces of how to actually control relationships. So solo poly people really move in a space that's how they see comfortable for themselves.
Is there a dictionary for this? That you could just look at these things.
Hey.
He looked like he mind fucked the shit out of them, and they were like, "Yo, listen, we give up."
Once you get thinking about the vocabulary, I'm confused. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Google is a beautiful tool.
Right? He using chat. He using the AI now to give him all this shit. That's what he's using.
He talking too fast with Google. You faster than Google, bro.
So Rico, what is your assessment and what do you feel about all this? Will you ever walk away from monogamy to a poly relationship, or you good where you at? You like the being in the relationship and the family unit?
Well, I mean, I don't think men were ever monogamous. We are programmed to be monogamous. That's why it gets confusing with vocabulary. So when you start understanding and opening your mind to a whole world of what the world really is rather than the tunnel vision of what they told you it is, then you can start to understand. If you've been the cool guy your whole life, in high school, you had more than one woman. There's never been nobody that I know that was a cool person.
I'm guilty for this.
And had one woman every time.
You was a herb if you had one chick.
Yeah, if you had one chick, you could not
unless you were
get
super
more
fly.
than one. Like that's it. So like we were when I came out the womb, in my mind I probably was like, I want more than one girl. Never
Right out the womb.
Right out the womb.
Right out.
I want more than one girl. I cried and I said I want more than one girl, right? And then if you look at it in school, in what's it called? Elementary school in 5th grade, we cheating because we tap kiss another girl, which means that we've showed a desire that we wanted more than one partner from a baby, from a kid.
Spin the bottle.
Yeah, spin the bottle. Like,
But women is around and spinning the bottle too.
yeah, but those are the ones that you don't want to tap kiss. But the other thing is like it comes down to a point in high school, and I'm gonna just use high school as a 17-year-old going up to, let's say, 50 years old, right? Most men have experience dealing with 2 women in a serious capacity, but without commitment, at least once in their life. So we were all exercising non-monogamous ways. Then we decide, in my opinion, to become monogamous, right? Because a girl comes into our life that we feel deserves it. She deserves the sacrifice of the rest of the world. That's why I married her. She held me down in my worst times. She was there for me. She knew how to support me. I don't want to give up my life of having more than one woman, but she deserves it. Forget monogamy. Forget poly. So we really just like morph into their ways just off of what they've done for us, because it's not what I believe men want to do. It's not what we were programmed to do.
Guilty.
But yeah, no. So take the guilt.
It's guilty monogamy.
No. Take
It's guiltomany.
No.
But monogamy because you don't want to hurt their feelings.
But facts though. Okay, so let's say it like that. Because Dave, I'm gonna ask you this question, right? So take the guilt, shame, and the legal process, because I know it's bigamy. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
So the law, bigamy is going to be a situation. So
another word.
How do they not force their way to make you? I want to know: is it your choice to be monogamous, or you just be monogamous by default?
I'm the guy for this because I like being with one woman.
Don't start your shit, Dave.
I do. I really.
Dave, more amazing every time I come
I'm glad I could amaze you
Dave, since
poly
when?
individuals over here.
Since when did you decide?
You know why? Because I listen. We ain't gonna make all Spanish men look messed up, okay? We're not gonna do that. Listen, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna tell you my truth, and my truth. I've been for a long time looking forward for that one woman to build with it and have that companionship. I don't.
Has it worked for you?
No.
Yes, at times it has. It has for a couple of years. Yes. No. What's permanent? What's permanent?
You get as many women as possible.
And I do that being single.
This is how you bust down though, because you looking for one. Stop looking for it. Just rock off with all the ones you can.
This is what I've been. Listen, this is what I've been doing.
Yeah.
I'm single, so when I'm single, I'm mingling. I'm dating. I'm messing around. I'm fooling around. I'm doing all
But
that.
what happens when you like one of them?
I'm gonna get to know them. And then I'm gonna be with that person. And if we get into, if it leads into that,
I'm hitting on what you just said. You said so right now. What you're doing, you're maneuvering in the space of dealing with multiples. You know,
right? Because I'm single.
around.
There's nobody yet in my life that
at the end of the day,
is at that caliber.
Monogamy is strictly just dealing with one individual. You
Right.
got to
You would
invest.
be practicing that throughout your entire life.
You're practicing
be
monogamy in a different format.
Okay, so now we gotta fact check the definition to this.
Let me.
A relationship. He's dating. When you're
Right,
dating,
right.
you can date multiple people.
Is that
Right,
Right,
because
Dating it. Yes, that's what Google.
yeah, but then you would have to get rid of that word, and you would have to be everybody you meet. That's your girl at this point. If you're gonna practice the monogamy thing.
Let me
relationship.
let me say this.
And by the way, 35% of men surveyed say they prefer monogamy.
No, and monogamy is all right.
I'm one of the 35.
I don't want to be.
I'm one of the 35.
I don't want to be
Yo, you wait,
anti-monogamy.
let me just say, you
gotta-
know people lie on surveys, right? I'm just asking you.
So how about the other 65? They might be lying too.
Everybody be popping out with these surveys. Like, people tell the truth. People be lying. So when we get the survey, like he lying.
100% of men gotta want a poly.
90.
100%.
90.
Yeah, but look,
90.
Right.
No, to me,
Right, that's
to
what
me,
I'm saying.
I'm just saying when you're using the fact.
Man, you can't take
you got-
65
you
is a
gotta
lot, bro.
understand that people be lying. And their wife or their girlfriend be standing right next to them, and they gonna say what they want to say.
I'm
They're not telling the
gonna
truth.
give it to the 35 off due to the
65% of
fact
men- Go ahead.
off due to the fact that they probably realized that that's their capacity. They probably
Or
dealt and they
not.
probably
There
went
are
there.
people.
No, but let's talk
Tell them
because it's the
school, bro.
experience. It's the experience, right? At the end of the day, I could do like Wes says. You can't do 3, 4. I could play with it, and then at the end of the day, if I can't maintain it, then I
can't
went
judge
past my capacity.
There you go.
So at the end of the day, they might think right now that you see that.
What do you mean when you say capacity?
Let that man
This
talk.
is-
Let
this
I'm
that-
just saying.
this is
Yeah,
wrong.
because
Let that man
it
talk.
helps you. It helps you.
So at
That's
the
why.
end of the day, I'm gonna use it on you.
Right.
You said you're fooling around with multiples, but when one shows up in the ways that you want them, you know that you can only handle one to show up in the ways that you need to for them. Reciprocity,
No,
right?
That's not what I said. That's
Well,
what you're
I'm
saying.
just saying. You said you're gonna deal with
That's what
one.
you said. No, that's
No,
what
you-
you said. I have
I
the
just-
listen. If it comes to a financial thing, I have the capacity to have 3 women.
What about
I'm choosing not
emotional?
to.
But see,
He didn't say
don't do
financial.
transact. I'm not talking
He
about
didn't say
transactional situation.
mental? Because I
I'm
have the
talking
mental
about
capacity to be with 2, 3 women.
partnership.
I'm choosing not to.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I
That's
look
what-
forward to waking up
'Cause
to that
that's
one
your
woman,
capacity 'cause you
going on
know
dates
it.
with that one woman, having walks with that one woman. I look forward
That's
to that.
your
I like that.
capacity.
I like
That's
that.
your capacity.
I like that.
Yo, go ahead. Yo, go ahead.
No.
He's not hearing you, bro.
Yo, get this man more champagne. That champagne, he finished it. He needs more.
Listen, let me tell you the not so conventional outlook on how you moving, right?
What? Talk to me.
If I've been moving this way like you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a one-woman guy.
I wasn't always like this.
I'm just saying that's
We know that.
right, though, right?
I told you
That's
that.
the thing.
I already told you.
Because you reached your capacity.
You want to be with one woman, right? So you're a one-woman
I look forward
guy,
to that.
right?
Yes.
When the other gender knows that, they act differently. So if I knew that, if I'm a one-woman guy right now and that's not working for me, meaning that I don't have the one woman that I want, that's what I say is not working for me, right? I have to go do other things now. I'm not going to invest into just that one woman thing. I'm going to now look at him. I might not be poly, but I'm going to surf around and start dating. And then when I like one, I'm not going to just settle for that because that hasn't been working for me. I'm going to now change my outlook and change my way of doing things and say, this is where I got to look at now. Maybe I don't want to have 2 or 3 women. But maybe I need to have 2 or 3 women to
I don't need to
accomplish
have.
my goal.
Well, to be,
I'd rather stay dating.
You understand
But no,
self.
to be honest, and this is going back to what we were saying. If you are a one capacity person, you are not dating Marie, multiple people at once.
Oh, man.
Because your capacity is going to be focused on this one person to figure it out. Now, what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for failure. You're telling yourself you're monogamous, but yet you're dating multiple women, which means you like a little bit of her, a little bit of her, a little bit of her, and a little bit of her, and you're expecting one girl to embody all 4 of those traits. It's never gonna happen. So what you
Well,
gotta do is
maybe
be
not
realistic.
all 4 of those traits, maybe 3 out of the 4.
But it's still, she's not even gonna have those. Each one of them only got one. So if each one of them only got one, how you gonna find one girl that got all the one parts?
And if you want to have her, he got to take time to invest. He can't be dating.
Yeah.
He's a one-woman guy.
Yeah.
I got to date this one girl.
And that's-
It doesn't
that's
work,
why-
and I'm going to move on to the next one girl.
Yup.
You ain't
One
gonna
at a
be dating
time.
5 at a time.
I knew
You
this
can
was
date
gonna
5
happen
at a
with you
time.
3. I knew this was gonna happen with you 3 because y'all was gonna team up and make this shit seem like you guys are good
Dave,
with not being
Dave,
monogamous.
You have
Say,
not
take
been
good
monogamous
shit.
majority of your life.
But
Actually, in my relationships that I've been, I wasn't playing them girls dirty.
Okay, cool, but that's different.
I wasn't playing them dirty.
Maybe you need to start playing them dirty. then.
Nah,
you don't
I'm not
need to
doing
play
that. I don't need to do that.
something new.
No. When I'm single, I'm playing. So when I'm in the relationship, I'm in the
You
relationship.
know what went down with me, and I'm gonna just tell you what went down with me. Turning the new year, I always be putting people way in front of my own personal needs, right? So
Okay.
when the turn of the year came, I told my wife for the first time, I said, you know what? I see everybody doing this thing. Everybody cares about themselves. You know what I'm gonna start doing? I'm gonna start worrying about myself. I ain't gonna start worrying about how everybody else feels along this journey.
Right.
I gotta do this for myself once upon a time. And that's what you
Well,
need.
that's
And you're moving
I
in your
am
own
doing that
autonomy.
though.
You're
I am
moving
doing
in
that.
your own autonomy. You're governing self. You know what I mean? You're moving in your own space.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that is a thing.
Am I
And-
so-
and-
Yeah, but I'm doing that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like the thing is, right? You could be transparent, right? And mind you, it's just at the end of the day. So I was asking you, what makes you choose monogamy out of the guilt, shame, and plus the legal process too? You know,
What the guilt shame?
the guilt, shame. You know, your people around you. You can have multiple individuals, just like you. Like I can't
I
handle.
don't
it.
listen.
It's
If
not- people
I
are just-
chose to be with 2-3 women and be in the poly like you, I'm not gonna have no guilt shame. That's what I choose to do.
yeah,
No,
and
but
it's
he's saying
about
that you're not doing it because you feel guilty of doing it. Realistically, because
No,
you
I
want
don't.
one
No,
person.
no. I look forward to being with that one person. That's what I look forward to having.
When?
I don't got time to deal with the multiple personality disorder.
But you're doing it. You're dealing with multiple women.
I could do that being.
You're
dating your
grounded.
poly. When you're committed, you're monogamous. That's what it sounds like.
I mean, I guess if that's how you're gonna put it, is that what it is? If I'm dating, that means I'm poly.
But
I don't
he
know.
said- he
I'm
said the same
asking.
thing. A lot of
That's
people.
not what that means.
Yeah, that's why I'm
You're
confused.
dating.
Yo,
Right.
at one, you know,
Is these new words like the him, her, and she, and that? Like, is that what it is now? It said if when you're dating, you poly.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, you are, bro.
They,
You are
look,
not.
No. We're adding
I'm
a different dynamic to it.
You sure are. We want to get over dynamic.
No, from Google to just being a man, right?
Yeah.
And what they're saying in me is saying that if it was seriously about you saying you can't deal with multiple women, you wouldn't be doing it now.
I
Even when
can.
you're
I just
single.
choose not to.
But-
They,
but-
it
but
just
see-
it just feels like there's something nice
but-
by being with that one woman when you find that great connection. There's something great about it. I don't need no other
Them
interference.
shits is one in a
you know,
million.
and
One
in a
listen,
million.
it happens
love
because
exclusivity.
I seen it happen.
You love exclusivity.
where? Where did you see it happen?
Oh, so you never seen it?
Where
never
did
seen
you
it happen?
see it happen?
Oh man, there's
Where did you see it?
35%. It's 30. Check the stats.
But that was,
Where did you see it happen?
After they reached the capacity. After they understood the capacity. No, I got, you love the exclusivity. The exclusivity.
I like it. I like
Answer
it.
Rico's question. Ask him
I'm
again,
not
Rico.
listening to Rico's question.
Ask him again, Rico.
I can't hear. I'm deaf. I can't hear loud in this ear. My right ear be messed up. It's like messed up.
Tremendous magical connection.
A monogamous connection, and they were
seen it in my
happily-
grandparents.
You're gonna have to make it work.
Yo,
No, your
but you
grandparents didn't show you the bullshit
That they was doing.
Yeah,
That
I was about to say
maybe
that.
not. Maybe not.
Yo, she was a quality woman, and she wasn't doing
No,
the
but
bullshit,
see-
and he was cheating
But see, at the end of
behind
the day,
back. Not saying
don't
not
get
showing
it
up.
twisted, because there's layers to non-monogamy, right? So you could still present that monogamous situation to where you see just the married individuals. You see the husband and the wife. You know, you could use your grandparents, whatever it is at the end of the day. But everything is about the understanding. What makes it consensual and ethical is that we have an understanding of what we negotiate and agree to. So it's not always about adding someone in instantly to create that polyamorous or polygamous situation. You could also do monogamous. You could do open relationship and have that understanding. Well, you know, at the end of the day, we're going to put our relationship in a hierarchy, and other relationships outside of our household, you know, it's just for those engagements, those sexual preferences, those kinks, whatever it is. But in our household, we are still a unit.
What's that solo joint that you be saying? What's the solo?
The solo poly, that's like something different. Solo poly is something different.
Say, Rico?
Dave, this is something that I think. I mean, we said it here before, but I don't know if you heard it. But I think this is something that you might really align with. So the history of monogamy came from Christianity, and there was a war for 300 years to basically have a guidance of what is going to be the structure of
the
a
family
relationship. Exactly. So somebody that I know what you really, subscribe to, it's funny because on the flip side, you don't even realize that you're subscribing to something that you really don't fully embody. You get what I'm saying?
I think the true subscription is the love you have for yourself. And then it allows you to be whoever you need to be with at any capacity, which what you said earlier. I just made my choice. What I'm looking forward to having now.
Now, all right.
Yeah,
listen,
because
I get it.
I'm sure in the day and time where there was men that everybody had more than one woman, I'm sure that there was one man that might have fell in love and had one woman, and that would be Dave.
Stop.
Shout outs to me.
Sure, and
That would be Dave.
Shout outs to me.
What's wrong with that?
Because he's not doing it now.
I'm not doing it now because I'm not in a
You know
serious
that
committed
back in the
relationship.
day,
Okay.
back in the day, and this is the reality. Back in the day, you weren't dating multiple people at once. You dated one person at a time because you
No,
were.
that's not what dating means, though. Dating means you go on multiple
that's not what
dates.
dating means now.
dater?
That's not what dating means now.
No, dating was always that.
Dating back in the day,
Serial dater.
No,
one
no.
person at a
Multiple
time.
dates to get to know them and
No,
all the rest of
dating
that stuff.
always been multiple dates.
No, dating's not having multiple
Yes.
people.
Fact check. Where's the
It's-
fact check on that?
You want a fact check?
She can't.
But they
That's not
listen.
in Google.
I thought it was dating, and then when you start seeing someone, now you're just seeing that person because you stop dating the multiple women. Because now I'm seeing you, and then seeing that person leads into eventually this is
I
my
agree with-
girlfriend.
I
If
agree
you
with
dated,
Rico Hundo.
if you dated,
I'm pretty sure you do.
Dave, if you dated back in the day, let's be real. If you dated, if a girl went on 3 dates back in the day in 1 week,
Right?
she
dating.
was a hoe.
She's a hoe.
She's a hoe. If a guy
separate dates,
went
she's a
on
hoe.
3 dates back in 1 week,
Hey,
he's a player.
If we go
He's a
back to
player.
So what
don't
I'm
see like
saying
that,
now, because you know why?
We had this conversation
Now
before.
everybody wants to be poly, but they don't want to
Use the
take
title?
on the title, right? But back in the day, they were practicing monogamy. That's why they had better monogamous relationships. You're practicing poly and then trying to get into a monogamous relationship. You're really doing the entire opposite of what you're trying to accomplish. It makes no sense. It's like trying to drive forward, but you're in
smart.
reverse.
He's
You're in
smarter.
reverse trying to
You
go
don't look
forward.
as smart as you, Dave.
it's the glasses.
but
It's the
no,
glasses.
It's the pants. It's the pants.
I get it.
It's when you trap his vibe.
The exclusivity in of course in monogamy is people love that. At the end of the day, people do love monogamy because it gives the exclusivity. You know, it makes it help.
It's because it's on Disney.
Yeah, no, a
Disney.
lot of people fall in love with the fairy tale. A lot of people love to stay hidden. People maneuver more in peace by presenting disguised intent. Like they're not really there for the relationship. But also at the due time, also they have somewhat of a codependency, which is not healthy in a lot of relationships. People find themselves in that situation because they also love the control and the ownership. Now you're telling the person at the end of the day, be who you are, your true self, and present it to me at all times, and I'm gonna support it. What would you think is the percent that you find that in a monogamous situation?
It's messed up right now.
But you should. So a happy
is
relationship
hilarious.
at the end of the
It
day
is.
should be allowing your partner to be who they are. Because again, like I said at the beginning, you ain't the same person at 20 that you are at 30. 30
I mean,
or
if
40.
people are having the difficult time of finding that in a monogamous relationship, is it harder finding that in a polygamous relationship that you got two people? Maybe one of them is going to be super transparent, and now she's telling you she's being her and she's giving you everything, and now you need to find a second one that's going to do the same thing. And I'm not saying it's impossible.
Yeah.
Why don't you
Not
try it out
impossible.
and see? Why don't
Yeah,
you-
but you gotta think about it. Most people lie about the same thing. Okay, and
Why you
most
say that? What you mean by that?
most people lie about the same thing. They lie about their whereabouts. They lie about who they're talking to. They lie about what they're doing, and they're lying about who they're stepping out with. That's majority of America. We are all been lying for since God knows how long about what we all do. We are all cheating, right? For the most part. For the most part, whether you're seeking out an emotional, void because you're lacking it in your current monogamous relationship, it's still emotional cheating. If it's physical, such and so on and so forth. So we're all doing the same thing. Majority, I should say. Majority is doing the same thing, lying about the same thing, and then saying we want to subscribe to something that we know is not even within our capacity. Nobody likes being boxed in. And at some point in time, you're going to feel boxed in, which is why we like to go with the whole narrative, date as many people as you want. You know why? Because they say live your life before you're married. Right? Don't be boxed in before you get boxed in. That's basically what they're telling you. But it's like, well, why would you even subscribe to being boxed in if you know that majority of people are breaking out of that box in different ways?
But let me ask you a question. Have you ever been boxed in with a girl you like to be boxed in with?
For a short time, right?
It's called an apartment.
Facts. It's called an apartment.
I'm just being curious because I've been with a
You been boxed
woman
in?
or two. That I didn't
A
mind
woman
being-
or two.
that I didn't mind being
boxed
boxed in with them. Like I didn't care about going nowhere. I was cool with going to get my money, coming back.
Yeah.
Everything was lit. And I'm not saying like that's the connection he's talking about. And I feel like
I can't do it.
It's hard. It's. And I'm asking a pure question because I know it's hard to find. And I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna say this on camera. I know that we're the type of guys that's been with a lot of women. You follow what I'm saying? So my wife knows that. So me saying that is like, in all the women that I've been with, and I had sex since I was 13 years old. Probably only two that I could be literally boxed in with and not worry about it. Be in a small apartment, not dealing with another woman or something because they're just that fun. You know what I'm saying?
That has a time frame, okay? That has a time frame. At some point, I could be cool boxed in, but give it 3 or 5 years. And I'm like, yo, you know what?
Limits himself.
I got it. No.
This guy, Cupid must have hit you with a bunch of fucked up arrows.
It's like you're limited once you. It's like yo, you know what it is. The best way I could make this analogy and assessment is trying to tell somebody who is wealthy that they only need one car, they only need one house.
Is this the analogy we're gonna use?
I mean,
It is analogy.
it's like somebody who has the ability to obtain a lot. You're trying to tell them to only have one. Right now, I do agree. There is gluttony. There is greed, which is when you fall out of your capacity levels. Now you're trying to get 4 girls, but really your capacity is 2. You know what I'm saying? But realistically, if you do have the ability, Dave, you might not. You might want one. But if you do have the ability to want 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever, like, don't go ahead and try to go with the societal norm, which is really not a norm. It's a societal lie of monogamy.
Well, that's not why I would be doing it.
But
Okay.
Not you. I'm just saying other people.
Hold on. Most men, when we talk about capacity, don't have the emotional capacity to have more than one
I was about
woman.
to.
But you know why that is?
But let me ask a question. Where's that documented at?
But no, I would sit there. I would sit there and say,
scientific study that
so-
most men
The,
don't have the capacity
emotional
to do that.
capacity
To me-
manage 2 women.
And
I mean,
here,
I'm saying,
Some
is
people
that-
don't have the
in
emotional
America,
capacity to manage themselves.
Oh, where's
yeah,
that?
How about that one?
I could sit there and
Well,
speak on that.
how's that
Because
fact?
sometimes in relationships, a lot of
Yeah, well, how's that?
Look.
I'm just curious because
I'm pretty sure
a
they
lot
got
of
data for all
Muslims-
this.
A lot of
I can't-
Muslims
I can't
have
give data.
multiple wives.
because they're speaking on something.
Yeah,
they're speaking on something that's only her opinion. There is no data
can't-
on that.
I can't-
That's how. That wait.
I
Hold
can't-
on, bro.
Yeah.
That's how a woman feels about a man. Right? She's not a man, so she can't tell us what we emotionally got. Just like if I'm trying to tell her what women emotionally got, she not gonna let me tell her that. She gonna say,
I have to concur with this statement here. I have to concur with that.
So let's not
This is
address
true.
that.
That statement alone is true.
No.
Yes.
Hold on, let's not address that if that's fact. That's pure opinion.
I can't
Okay.
give the data
Just be
on
clear
it.
on
I
that,
can't
bro.
give the data, but
be
also to
clear.
say a lot of people don't have the emotional capacity. You know, they don't have the emotional intelligence. They don't even know how to do emotional regulation. You know, a lot of people are not tapped into understand, accept. Hey, right now I'm angry, and they start to source why they're angry. Start to look within themselves. We never really got the tools, especially if you came from a dysfunctional household. How did you gain those tools to understand yourself to maneuver in those spaces? And as men, we're taught to be
My
tough.
question about you, pause. There are women in them houses too.
Oh yeah, no, the women
Oh,
need
wait,
tools.
but
What's
this
crazy,
is-
right?
But this is why you got to pause on that, right?
Yeah.
Because when you're talking about men, you got her on the side saying, "Yeah, you're right. No, you're not right.
no.
No, wait, hold on. I'm not even
I'm
going.
his son down like that.
I'm not even going to let it rock like that. I see everything, bro.
That's true.
When you talking in that language, you got to say men and women is
Yeah.
in these dysfunctional joints.
Facts. I agree.
It's not
I
men.
agree.
It's not men
Yeah.
that we are going to say that are not able to deal with things in this way. If you're gonna say men being it's not documented, you have to say in them houses it's men and women. So men and women must not be able to deal with these things.
This is
Emotional
facts.
capacity.
This is facts.
That's correct.
Everybody learns their
That is
communication from how they were raised. But one thing I will say also, at the end of the day, with men, they do take the time to find the tools. They do seek the ability to take the understanding of how to handle a relationship, especially if they're invested in it. What makes successful non-monogamous relationship is the man taking the time to find the information, study it, understand how to show up for those relationships, understand the woman. Now, mind you, do the women do? No, they believe at the same time, I'm going to figure this sisterhood out, or I'm going to figure this whole this situation out. Even the monogamous relationship, they're not reaching out and finding the sources to show up in the relationship. Some do, but very, very many don't. But men do. When they want to show up for something, they show up by reaching out and making sure they have the information or whatever is needed to show up the relationship that they want to give in, monogamous or non-monogamous. So I will agree with you on that sense. Yeah, it does. Men and women do come from those backgrounds.
But the thing is that we also have to, when I hear that men don't have the capacity, the emotional intelligence, the emotional, what's the other one? Maturity, to have multiple women, and it's like that's false because we've been doing it all our lives. I already stated that. Not only is it false because we've been doing it, but the funny thing is it's just a controlled experiment, and we're judging it from a United States standpoint. If I was a person, a young boy being raised by a father who had 3 wives, I guarantee you I would have all the intellect that I need emotionally and all the maturity that I need emotionally for more than one woman. But because I'm growing up in a dynamic where we are not allowed to have more than one wife, legally, we're not allowed to have more than
Who
one
made
wife.
that rule?
So now the people that you actually don't like. But you with them. But you with them though.
I don't like these people. I think it's no. I think it's a choice. I think it's a choice.
It's not a choice. It's a condition. It's legitimately a condition, and that's the point that I'm making. Is like Esso said, we do have the emotional maturity. We do have the emotional capacity. We have all the tools. The only thing is we had nobody to teach us how to use a shovel. So how the hell you expect me to dig? You know what I'm saying? But now we have, in the first time, I would say in the last 20, 30 years, we're seeing an influx of non-monogamous outings within relationships.
Yes.
Dudes and girls, right?
Put it to 65% now, according to
Due to the survey.
these surveys,
Yeah.
these stats.
Sorry, but they be lying.
But
it might be 70.
Even the survey also said 46% of men prefer something in between poly and non-conventional monogamy.
What that word would be, because she seems to know all the words.
That's when you with your girl. That's when you
That's
with your
in
girl
between
and
poly.
cheat.
But look,
That's poly between.
That's why I say
Give me a hall pass. I just need a hall pass.
Real quick, Alex, real quick. Can you stay on that for a second?
Yeah.
Because is that something like when your girl, and this happened, your girl does not want you to go to the strip club because she doesn't want you to be around other women?
What you
that
mean?
that is?
That's in the middle. No,
I don't know.
cheating.
No.
You got a girl and you cheating.
Yeah.
Stop.
Go to a strip club.
And you're not getting no.
Yeah.
That in between that he's talking about, not no strip club. You got a girl and you cheating
No,
and
you
you're
don't have
not
to be
getting
cheating.
caught.
That's
You don't gotta be
46%.
cheating.
You're
You
not
don't gotta be
getting
cheating though.
caught.
If
You
you
can't
get
even
caught
like
cheating,
a girl.
it's over.
You don't gotta
You
be
can't
cheating.
even like another girl's Instagram. That's cheating now.
Now.
You can't even like another. Why you like her pictures?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
is
that's
that what's going
insecurity.
on with you and your 5 chicks?
No,
Is that what's going on?
no, it's going on with people I know. It's going on with people. No, I'm just saying. I know people that tell me,
Mr.
yo,
Monogamy.
no, I know boys that call me
Don't
be like,
tell
yo,
us
I got
anybody else
smoke
you
with
know,
my girl
Dave.
because I like some other girl's pictures. I'm like, damn, you can't see with me. I'm doing what I love to do. So if I have a wifey and I'm looking at my Instagram, and I'm scrolling and I like this picture, I'm liking it. And my problem for me is you're not allowing me to be me. It doesn't mean I'm playing you dirty. I'm not doing that. I'm scrolling, and if I see Marie's got a picture there, she's got a nice outfit, I'm gonna like it. I might even put like, that's a dope outfit.
You
Now, if
don't
my
wanna
girl
be-
see that,
you
she don't
don't
know
wanna be
Marie,
in a
and she don't know that I come to 8 to 10. She's
That's
gonna be
part of
like,
being in a monogamous relationship, Dave. You
I'm just
can't-
telling you.
You can't
And
look
now,
at other women's pictures.
but
You know what else
the,
that is,
the
right?
thing is,
that's that
it's
codependency I was talking about.
on her part.
That's that codependency. If you can't
Now
like
kill him, Rico,
maneuver in
'cause
your
you got
own
something to
business,
say.
right?
Kill him, Rico.
Codependency. Oh, I'm gonna let go. Go.
It's just funny because if you listen to his actual word choice, he said, quote unquote, I'm doing what I like to do. I like to look at other women. I like
no.
to express. No. I like to express
that's
that I like your outfit and I like the way you look.
You need to point
And
and Marie, if you got a nice outfit, I want to express that you.
Yeah, but what's the
wait,
whole point?
hold
I got
on.
Instagram and I'm
Wait, but
scrolling.
Dave,
It
I'm not
doesn't mean
done.
if I see a quote, no matter what I see, a nice picture of
Dave.
anything, I'm gonna like
Dave,
it.
listen, let me finish.
It's an insecurity on her part.
Yeah, on their part.
Dave,
Because I'm not saying that if she liking pictures of somebody.
Dave, let me finish what I'm trying to say. Quote unquote, I am doing what I like to do. And I just used an example, right, of the Instagram. But now if I think about what you've already said here, you are doing what you like to do. You are dating multiple women. That is what you like to do.
No, that's not what I like to do. That's
So
what
then
I'm
why
doing
are you
because I'm
doing
not
something-
in,
Yo,
because
what?
I have not
Yo.
yet found somebody who's receptive to the way I like to be.
Let me ask you a question, Dave.
That's a good answer, Dave.
No, it wasn't. It was a terrible answer.
I think it was a good answer.
Are you allowing
I just
yourself
wanna
that
ask you-
space though? Are you allowing yourself that space though?
Yeah.
You know what is a cutoff
Why
point
not
to sit there and
attacking
say, at the end of the day, this one, even though I dated her and I was vetting, you know, she didn't meet the requirements of what I'm seeking. Though I got to move on to the next.
Come back to you on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll say I'm not just gonna say something without even making sure my capacity.
You know how
is correct.
monogamy is?
Yeah, how do I replace? I want to know how to replace one of the
I want to
wives.
know, do they get to have sex too?
How do I go about
Yeah,
Well, they
replacing?
should show.
ask those questions.
But you know they
I
should
want to
show.
know, do the women get to smash too? Because
Yeah.
Joe Budden told me, he was like, yo, when you in that relationship,
That-
the
we
women
need to talk
get
about
bring,
that portion.
get to bring niggas home too if you really
Yeah.
got it.
Nah.
Yes,
We
they
could,
do.
but they had
Yes,
that out
they
there.
You know there's a
Now,
show
this is
coming
the-
out now
this
with
is
that
yeah,
shit.
no,
See,
women
I told you
home,
about that
bring
show.
them
Understanding,
home if
alignment,
they
and
want.
preference.
There's a show
Alignment
coming
and
out now in TLC about
Yeah, I
the
know the
women
people.
sisters
So the husband,
doing that.
brother
Two
husbands.
girls
I
be
met them.
one girl be with two men.
Yeah,
No, I'm not saying it don't happen, but it's not happening across all these polys.
No, it's not happening.
It's not
No,
happening
ain't no
across
way,
all the
boy.
polys.
Ain't no way.
It's only a specific group, and that's
Yeah, that's why I said it's just different.
Those
Hey,
stats
go
are gonna
ahead.
grow. Okay, those stats are gonna grow.
those stats are gonna grow.
But bring that up because we do need to talk about it because that is something that's big in the
That's a
community.
major thing.
Yeah.
Can the women bring the dudes home? You know what I'm saying?
No.
Yeah, if you want to be pegged.
For the
No,
first
it ain't
time.
even that. But
like,
you know, the funny
no.
part about that,
No
though,
pegging
Like,
going on over here.
Yeah, like,
the funny part
who's
of-
bringing? Like, what? I wish would run
you
train
want
on my
to-
girl.
No, okay.
He's talking about pegging.
So look, hold on.
That's what
hold
he's
on.
talking about.
But see, that still
you-
falls
No,
under
no, he's talking
monogamy.
It's different.
That
I don't know
falls-
what he's
that falls
talking
under monogamy. Because at the end of the day, you could still have kinks, right? Kinks, BDSM, and then your husband might like to get pegged, but you don't like to peg. And at the end of the day, she'll be like, "I have to understand this is a
Nigga,
pleasure
wow,
you want
yo.
to deal with." Yeah, it's a part of the joint. And then she'll be like, "Hey, we have an understanding. We're part of this community, and yeah, go ahead and get pegged because that's an excitement because I love you for you, and I have to support your pleasure that you want too." And she'll let her husband go get pegged.
Yeah.
I know a woman that does that. I
Let her husband go get
Yo,
pegged,
bro,
and
you
it might
know
be
a woman to
pegged.
do everything.
Yeah, I
in
do.
life
I
you
do.
live.
I ain't gonna
It's
hold
all
you.
about-
Everything we want to touch on, I know a woman that a woman or man do it.
Well, this is the first time ever, right? That when you go on dates, people ask the other if they're monogamous or not,
Facts.
right? So where's that leading us now?
to non-monogamy.
Yeah, it's opening up because at the end of the day, when you speak about non-monogamy, it's a transparency and honesty, right? At the end of the day, of what it's going to look like. So it is a very big thing to some people are seeking couples. Some couples are seeking people to add to their family. So a lot of people now have to really ask that question when they're out on dates due to the fact that, okay, am I just out on with the husband or am I out on with the wife or am I out, what am I doing? What situation am I going to commit to?
You think that that's the real reason why they asking? I think that they just trying to find out if they can be free or not. Because if you're not monogamous and I'm dating you, I'm free.
No, that's not. But that's okay. Simple? I'll get you depending what type of non-monogamy you're practicing. Remember, there's levels to that.
Okay.
There's too many goddamn levels to this.
Yeah. Because you have polygamy, which falls into two different things. Polygamy is straight marriage based. So you have polygyny, which is a man with multiple wives. Polyandry, which is a woman with multiple husbands.
Wait, polygamy?
Polygyny is a man with multiple wives.
See what I'm saying?
That's what I subscribe to.
Polyandry is a woman with multiple husbands. Polyamory, the diversity is endless in that community in polyamory.
So she got 5 husbands?
Yeah, there's women that have 5 husbands.
Well,
no.
What happens if one of your chicks want to bring home a dude and have sex?
Like
with
one of the two girls you're with.
If that's the agreement, if that's the negotiation, what you discuss, and if that's a negotiation that you guys discuss and you guys agreed to at the end of the day, then yes.
You agree to that?
Well, me, no. My women are monogamous to me.
You are polygamous.
No.
You can say polygyny, but I really love to identify as ambyamory, which is I could be happy in a monogamous situation or in a poly situation.
You just stop it.
I could see people in a straight jacket like, what are you here for? I don't know. I'm
Oh my God.
poly loco.
We're not gonna grow with that one.
What the hell? Yo, that's crazy. So but you're telling me that you agreed already. Your deal on the table with the 2 women you're with is like y'all only smashing me. That's it.
They want to commit to me. They have the reason that they're monogamous to me. Yeah.
Oh, so they totally into just you. They don't want to go outside the scope. They don't want to know how it feels like to bring another dude in.
We have our fun there. You want to see But at the beginning, but see, understand. Even with those situations though, because the women could identify as hetero romantic and bisexual, where they only want to deal romantically with the man and then bisexually with each other. They have a sexual attraction towards each other.
At some point, when does this become a mental deficiency?
When you believe in monogamy.
I just want to know, at some point, is this, if I was to go to a psychiatrist, will a psychiatrist tell me this is a lack of intelligence, this is mental deficiency?
I get that. No, I like that question. So let's compare it to monogamy, right? When is it that saying I got control and ownership over another individual, and when they're not doing what I want, I don't want to commit to them, a mental deficiency? I'm not allowing that person to be who they are naturally and explore who they want sexually.
Man, I think these 2 girls just told you, listen.
Just answer the question. I responded to your question. You've been avoiding questions.
I'm not avoiding questions.
If
I don't have an answer, I'm not avoiding it.
You don't have the capacity.
I don't have the capacity.
Due to the fact at the end of the day, on this side, when it's not monogamy, we're transparent and honest. We know who we are. We're studying who we are. We want to allow you the space to be who you are. Okay. Now, if we don't align with it, we maneuver from it. We shift, but we don't hold that against you. In monogamy, shift into whatever aligns with me. If this woman say I'm a man and I don't want to deal with a woman that wants other men, then at the end of the day, I don't have to hate her. I don't have to maneuver or anything. I just don't connect with her, but I understand her. In monogamy, if this woman says, hey, you know what? I have a guy friend at work and he's just cool with me at the end of the day. We're just going to go have drinks. Who are you going to have drinks with? You know you can't do that.
Correct.
So what is it? So at the end of the day, you had that delusion that you have control.
So what happens maybe like 6 months down the line? Because you can have that agreement, which is valid. And what happens 6 months down the line? One of them heart changes or shifts or and they come to you. Like what happens at this point?
I mean, we're transparent.
Replace her.
No, we're in a position.
That's called replaceable monogamy.
No.
Polygamy. Replaceable monogamy. That's what that's called. You gotta hook these words up. I mean, you just gotta add any word to polygamy. You add any word to polygamy, it's a go. It's a go.
At the end of the day, we have the one thing monogamy doesn't have.
What?
The ability to create a safe space to be transparent with each other, to be honest, and sit there and say, what do we do
That's
next?
appreciated.
Yeah, more than monogamy have. Man,
what would you do right now? You, like 6 months down the line, one of them, like, so is both of them, you have the same love for both of them?
Yeah, I love them the same. The way I show up in the relationships are different. Equality. You can equity. Equality is going to be the same as you love them. You love them, that's equal, and love is love at the end of the day. But equity is how I show up for the relationship, what's needed for that relationship. Each relationship is different. It's its own individual, unique relationship.
That's been
They
it.
never loved 2 girls at one time.
Yeah, he
did?
has.
Yes, I have.
We all
Yes.
did. We
No,
really
but
loved them.
I've never been in his.
Talk
I've never been in his position where he has 2 full-blown relationships where they know about each other, they live with each other. You know, so I'm.
But
you've
you
been in
had
2 full-blown relationships.
They didn't live with each other though, but they knew you were dating other women. Come on, Scott.
I had that.
Everybody wanted to be a pimp one time. Son.
Right, and I definitely was pimping at one time, for
Pimping
sure.
is different. Pimping is different.
I definitely was, and being single, kind of pimping. You know,
Dating is pimping.
I guess it's polygamy, right? You said that's polygamy too.
It's
right?
polygamy.
Monogamous polygamy.
With integrity, it's polygamy, it's integrity, polygamy.
Yeah, nah.
But you gotta think about it. So like, if you think you go back right in the 90s, 80s, even early 2000s, you were automatically considered monogamous.
Yeah.
That's why, to go back to your question, it's like if I went on, and I remember I said this to somebody. I said, "Well, yeah, I cheated on you, but I never disclosed that I was monogamous." She was like, "Well, how does that? You really did when you decided to commit to me." I said, "Yeah, but that does not mean that I was only going to commit to you. I am now understanding that I've had mad women my whole life. I cannot just boil down to just one. I know I can't because my mind is going to wander and my urges are going to gain and it's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger until I step out." Now, I do feel that, nowadays it is a more so of a awareness-based thing. We have a lot of people who are poly in different ways, shapes, and forms. So now you need to disclose that because before, like I said, it's like it was assumed you were monogamous.
Yeah.
Even to the girls, I assumed she was monogamous, but she's out here doing her thing. And you know what I'm saying? And that's the part I think that is breaking people up is the expectations that were already set for us before we decided to have a conversation about it. You know what I'm saying? I expect you to be monogamous. Therefore, when you are and you demonstrate non-monogamous things, it breaks my heart because I believed that you were. But I never had a conversation and I never actually had you be transparent and tell me what you desire, what you like, who you are. And sometimes with that
So what was you doing in
But
all that
what they-
dating?
But I'm just saying, will we
like-
tell them and be honest? Because most men go and lie because they scared.
Well,
to
I
tell
mean,
the
The
truth.
delusional
But think
intent.
about it
I know,
like this.
disguise intent. Disguise intent.
I mean, it's different now. I think older men, yeah, but not younger. Like the kids nowadays are growing up with this. See, and I kind of see it both sides,
It's like
right?
an agenda.
Yeah, the older men, I don't say older, the more mature, let's just say men, they came up in an era where monogamy was a demand and a standard. Nowadays, these kids that are 18, 19, in the last 10 years, people just been sleeping with whoever. So they're probably more prone to being open-minded towards that versus the other. Like when me and my girl started dating, before I ever said, yo, we're going to get into committed relationship, I told her, I want 2 wives. If you are not subscribing to that, if you can't do it, then we won't work. Point blank, period.
Yeah.
Point blank, period.
Transparency.
And she was like, well, she said, all right, cool. But then when she got pregnant, obviously that delayed a lot of things. But even talking to some people that are in the poly community, because our goal was to wait till my daughter is 2 years old before we start seeking and vetting our second partner.
Yeah.
And I was told that the earlier would be the better way to do it. So, but I'm learning too, because this is the first time in the world that you can actually be open and poly.
Live your truth.
Yeah, and live your truth in America, let's just say, because it's been happening forever. With your ears to the streets and everything that we're experiencing and hearing, when it comes to monogamy versus poly, who's more socially accepting, the men or the women?
It's the man. The man, of course, man with multiple women makes sense. The women are engaged with each other, everything. And then when it's a woman that has multiple men, you get the slut shaming, you get the beta male concept, you get so much pressure on them. It's just like, what's really going on? And is it happening? Yeah, you have families out there that it is a woman with multiple men. There's a woman I know, shout out Passion Jones. She's pregnant by, the man that they brought in, but they're all engaged with each other. Yeah.
Wow, that's
yeah.
wild.
And then, Kenya, they got something going
Is
on.
she a breadwinner?
Yeah, I do. I don't know too much about
Makes sense.
that. Yeah. But
I mean, there's a whole new
gotta
show
pay the
coming out about that.
Huh?
Is that the one from Atlanta? They got
No,
the
no.
4 dudes.
I know one that's in Houston. She has 2 husbands, and they be moving in. But Passion, she from New York.
Okay, I know.
Yeah.
I
Makes
met a
sense.
girl in Atlanta that had like 4 or 5 dudes.
Yeah, and it's
In
hard
passing, I
it's
met
hard
her.
for them, right? Because at the end of the day, a lot of people don't want to accept that fact. So the men get slandered for being betas or being weak, and she maneuvers in her own space or however they need to. And of course, the woman gets slut shamed because she's open to the idea of what that looks like. And it's not only women that just hold those spaces for them, because they're a triad. They're actually in a close relationship where it's just them. There's other women that move in spaces that have a husband at home but open the relationship and have man partner outside of that.
Me.
So it's different. And in those spaces, it's hard for those women to actually really grow too in those situations. But at the end of the day, the relationship should always just be consensual and ethical and agreed upon of what we're maneuvering in. But a lot of people, it's hard to accept that at the end of the day, we're happy in our own space because people love to judge. Guilt, shame, and of course, the legal process.
You know what the crazy thing is? I'm gonna I agree with Esther before, but I'm gonna do a contradictful thing, and I'm gonna say I don't believe most women have the emotional capacity to take on 2 men.
Please don't talk about what women can
What are you
do.
talking about?
We knew they would.
No,
We knew
I
they
agree with you. I'm saying I'm contradicting because you said a man.
No,
can't
Marie
tell-
was gonna get on
a man
you.
can't- A woman can't tell what a man can take on, and man can't tell what a woman. And I agree, but I don't think women can take on more than one man.
But guess what, Rico? I agree with you as well. But guess what? Marie over there is making my point. Just as soon as you start saying women,
Yeah.
she was like, no.
Yes,
She
that
can
is
sit
true.
over there and say,
No.
You just made my point. I appreciate
Sound like a
it.
hook for records.
I appreciate you,
on
bro.
there. Well, you're not gonna say that don't speak for men and then turn around and speak for women.
Why you do it?
He announced. He announced.
The woman with no camera on it speaks for men all the time, and
I
she's
got
a
a mic,
woman.
Esso.
And she's mad because now she can't. And Rico's speaking for a woman now. and now she can't say nothing.
Okay, actually, I'm not even gonna disagree with Rico.
Sorry.
You're not gonna disagree with me.
I actually don't disagree.
I
with him.
appreciate it
She
because
can't because I gotta make her shit right. Yo, bro, I got 2 college degrees. I'm quick in here. This is easy. This ain't hard work.
but in the real sense, right? Most men, I know me, right? I require a lot of energy. You know what I'm saying? And because I require a lot of energy, I don't think like most girls could really deal with all of me. Now, if I gave them part of me, like the ones that have a man and now she's stepping out and messing with me, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because she's texting me once a week. Like I only have like our communication and amount of what my requirements to her are very, very minimal. So she can probably balance. But if we were going to be committed, it's gonna be very hard to do it.
You're gonna play too many mental games. It's gonna be too many mental aerobics with her. Like, stop playing with me.
She might have said.
Like, how you gonna deal with him and me at the same time? I'm gonna show you can't do that. Dealing with 2 or 3 women. Wait, let me just say this. Dealing with 2 or 3 women at one time is not an easy thing. People saying it like everybody can do it. No, you can't do it and do it effectively. You know what I'm saying? To do it effectively and please 2, 3, 4 women and have them even front like you're the only guy that they're with is an art to it. So when people just sit up here saying like you gotta have a couple dollars, you gotta be piping, you gotta be available. It's a lot of things that you gotta be able to do, and there's a lot of dudes out here that they can't do.
You gotta be able to gaslight.
And most,
Ain't no
You gotta
gaslight.
be smart, but you gotta fuck with their head a little
Nah,
bit.
you ain't gotta.
You
You gotta make them sit down.
Nah, you ain't got.
And we keeping it real.
Before we switch this topic, Alex, can you touch on this? Because this is very interesting for the audience. There's already a shortage of good men.
Yeah.
Most women, 50% of women are single.
Yeah.
So if there's already a shortage of good men, how y'all gonna get 2 when y'all can't even get 1?
Yeah.
Facts.
So I'm just asking.
It's the same way like Heineken said. If you got 40 women, you got 4 guys that get 10 women, right? Then the other 36 don't have none. So there are some women that are popping and they can get 2 and 3 dudes. They might have swag, they might have sex drive, they might have the ability to financially. It's a couple of ways, but that test market is small.
But that's why most women are actually open to the idea of non-monogamy, because again, it's like I said, these men are actually taking the time to study themselves. It's not just about finance, being financially stable. It's also showing up how this man is able to show up in their life and give them understanding, give them patience, give them whatever they need emotionally too as well. Present that partnership. There's situations of relationships only fall into two things: transactional or partnership. And in non-monogamy, when a man understands himself and is financially stable and he's able to show up with that partnership, most women are open to that. So that's why at the end of the day, why do you think a woman picks a married man and she don't mind being the side
I
piece?
don't know about that.
Because at the end of the day, I just say at the end of the day, you know what I mean? She knows he's a husband. He knows how to be a husband. He knows how to show up.
He's a
And of
committed
course,
dude.
He's a committed dude. He knows how to do it. And then also on top of that, he gonna splurge.
He gonna splurge.
He gonna splurge.
'Cause he
I know
married, he
dudes
gotta
that, yeah,
splurge.
he gotta splurge,
He
right?
got to.
And
He's
she
in a
don't mind
position.
that because she getting everything that she need. So now let's take away the deceit. Let's take away the betrayal. And let's bring in the understanding. Why ain't women gonna be open to it? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, and that's why you're seeing the opening and the transition from people going from monogamy to non-monogamy, because they understand, they get that, instead of people moving in disguise intent.
But here's the thing. So what Alan was saying too is that there's already a shortage of good men, right? There's already a shortage, and it took me and Esso 2 hours of an argument for me to even understand that, because I thought everybody was a king, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of lanes.
they know.
There's a lot of lanes. I'm like, yo, when the analogy was brought, it was like, think about all of history. How many kings were there, and then how many other men were there?
There you go.
Okay, cool. So there's a shortage of real kings out here. So now what happens is, because there's a shortage of real kings out here, these women that are now seeing kings who are committed monogamously, right? And they're like, all right, those kings typically are not monogamous. Right? So now they're like, okay, cool. I'm all right with being the side chick because, you know what I mean? I want a king too. But the crazy thing about me is like, the craziest thing about it is like, well, let's bring in the understanding. The understanding is that the 30% or 20% of good men that are really out here deserve more than one woman. They can deal with it. They can deal with it in all categories. But I think it's this women's sisterhood that be like, you have a wife, I can't do it. Like, since when did you care about how my wife feels?
I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna jump in on you, Rico, and pause. Like, you're not married yet.
Yeah.
When you get married, they don't care if you're married, bro.
So that's
No, they don't at all.
They don't care, bro.
They don't at all. They don't.
Bro, I thought when I got married, I was like, yo, they gonna see the ring on. They not gonna, but yo,
Kinda
I
hyped
had
it.
women say, don't nobody. I say, y'all married. I said, the girl said, I seen your ring. Don't nobody care about your punk ass ring.
Oh my God, I like
Gotta be a
that.
punk ass.
I'm
That'd
just
turn me on. Like,
I mean,
shit.
yo, but this is what
Me
I'm
either.
saying. So when you're saying married, it really doesn't change. It shows them that you are willing to be committed.
Facts.
It shows them that there's another woman that finds value in you
Facts.
so much that she's gonna commit her life to you. And they now, because it's a short,
want a piece.
They want that. Like you said, you made the illest reference that I heard in a long time when you said they want a king too. That was the biggest thing. So while these women say, oh, well, you got 2 and 3 women, yeah, because he's a king. And don't you want to feel that king life too, babe? Don't you want to know what it feels to be in these shoes and be with this guy and do what I'm doing and go where I'm at, exercise the clout that I have, spend the money I got, enjoy the good time I'm enjoying? Niggas don't get to do this shit.
And
Do
teach
you want to
you
come or
too.
not?
Yeah.
Do you want to come to the party or not? Because everybody can't get in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
You actually
So-
throwing the party.
Yo, I'm throwing, thank you, babe. I'm throwing the party.
I own the club. I'm throwing the party.
Thank you.
I got the guest list.
There
I got
you
everything.
go.
It's an invite only.
There you
It's
go.
an invite
And you know
only.
what
And
they
here's your
saying?
invite.
You know what they're saying? I want to come in, dog. I want to know what
Eyes
that
wide shut.
feel like.
Yeah.
I need that.
Yep.
Yo, even if I know Rico got 3 girls tonight, Rico chose me. I'm special. I'm that deal. And he's a king.
'Cause he
And
had
she's gonna
like-
go for it. And once she feels that king life and she gets her head knocked off with his penis, you know what I'm saying? She's gonna come back again and say, yo,
She hugs
the
it.
king
I
life
see.
is great. I love the king life, and I'm staying here with you.
But
Yup.
you'll be surprised too, and that's how most women that understand the type of man that she does actually have that's showing up in this way. They don't mind that. At the end of the day, they'll sit there and say, "Nah, I understand. Yeah, he can show up for me and not leave me empty in no type of way. That we can involve another individual." And it's still something that they experience too within the journey, because it's not opening it up just for my husband to have somebody else. It's opening it up for my husband and me to experience somebody coming into our family and bring some additions to it.
Do you sleep with both of your wives in the same bed?
Yeah, we've had multiple threesomes. Sometimes it'll be one.
I'm just saying, on a regular basis.
On a regular basis? I thought
you
said,
sleep in the same
Yeah,
bed.
well, it depends. Sometimes we'll sleep in the
Like
same
wake up
bed.
like
Because when
Man,
you have
I don't
multiple-
do that though. Like
No?
I used to at the beginning. You know what I mean? I used to do the middle thing because I used to I want to put.
But you be on one side.
Yeah, I'll
now?
be on
you
one
do the
side.
super
or the middle.
spoon with two of them and you spoon in
I
one
used to
and
do
she
that
super
too. I've
spoon.
done it all. You know what I mean?
Super
But one thing,
you
one
talking like
thing.
a guy that got multiple women.
I was just, I'm feeling that energy, so I'm just,
Monogamous lover, bro.
One thing I do want to sit there and say, right? Because
I'm just asking questions,
Super smooth.
Listen, at the end of the day, you know what it sounds like? A lot of lack of self-love. All that shit
It's a
sounded
lot of
great.
love.
It's a lot of lack of self. I'm talking about what we were talking about, the girls that are willing. I'm with all that.
What? Yo,
It's not a lack of
Let
self-love
us
to some
get it
degree. I'm
on.
just saying,
Let
there's
us
not
get
no
it on.
self-love there. A lack of self-love that yes, they are a few kings, and I agree with the whole king theory. I agree with that. I'm just saying, at some point, there's a lack of self-love that girl has that allows her to put herself in that situation, knowing that she's looking for somebody else's king.
you're
Wants to be with somebody else's king.
You're a
She
simp.
loves him.
I'm
though,
just saying.
bro.
Listen,
right
I just
now,
want to throw it out there.
It
I'm
could,
just
it
throwing
could
it out
also
there.
be the fact
Throw it out there.
that it could also be the
Throw it
fact
out
that
there.
she dated someone like you, and then
it
she
out there.
found out she was one of the 5, and then said, "You know what?
I just
he
said
ain't-
there was nothing
he
wrong
ain't
with what you
fulfilling-
said.
Hold on,
I hear you.
Let me
Yeah,
finish.
let him
He,
talk,
but
man.
he could have dealt with she could have dealt with someone that's a serial dater and ain't really investing into the relationship. Now at the end of the day, I know he's gonna be committed to me and show up in every way. So instead of dating a
I'm
serial
definitely-
dater
I'm
that cuts
definitely
me
invested
off,
into my
I'd rather
dating.
deal with I'd rather deal with the right man, and open myself up to this. So it is.
Chill with the name.
Serial dater.
dater.
He said I'm definitely invested in my dating.
I am.
Yo, but Dave, it's not definitely you. Like we can't do that. So like, for us, and there are men that do that, and it really irks me. I'm not saying that you really believe that. You might have just been throwing it out there. But there are men
No, I
that
was throwing
really,
it out there.
there are men that really do that. That make a woman feel like she doesn't know how to love herself because she's allowing her man to be who he is, whatever that.
Well,
may
I know
be.
that I didn't love myself to some degree that allowed me to do stupid maneuvers in my life. So it's equal. It allowed me to make all kinds of mistakes because there was self-reflection that I needed to do about myself. No different from what you was expressing about you and your mates have to now know each other, know yourself in order so you can have that capacity. So until I got to that point, then I was having better relationship with allowed me to be a better man to that woman because I was being a better man to myself.
Facts.
I was being good to myself. So that's all I'm expressing here. So even I agree that there's not a lot of kings. So of course I could see a woman saying, I want a piece of that. I want that. I want to be around that energy. It's the same way why when I moved into the neighborhood I moved into was because everybody was successful in that neighborhood. So I know by putting myself there was going to make
The
me
energy.
to be
The
that
energy's
energy
gonna
to
put
be
you in the right
successful.
place.
So I could see the woman doing that. At some degree, though, there's a lack of self-love that she's externalizing it to find it in you instead of herself. And then maybe when she indulges herself in that king, even if he has multiple queens, that she's never bothered by it now.
I ain't
But
going to cap.
when you did have a lack of self-love, did you allow infidelity, like allow cheating on you?
No, I did not. I argued about it, complained, and then walked away from it. But when I was younger, to some degree, I did allow because I didn't know no better. I was so in love and confused. I didn't know nothing about nothing at this point. So there was an allowance for the ignorance at that time. Yes.
How long
Now
did-
when I'm talking about when I was 17, 18, 19, 20.
So how long? Wait, like when you say allow, I just want a clarity. Like allowed it for 1 month, 1 year.
No,
One time?
For like 2 years, 2.5 years. It was the very reason why I got the scar on my face.
You almost died over a woman.
I not almost died because of the woman, just being around to something I knew that was not
was
good for
out-
me,
he was out
but
his
being
body,
so
bro.
what you call whipped, and to the point that nothing she did mattered because I was showing her that I love you.
And I
and I didn't really love myself, which allowed me to play myself in that capacity.
No, and I get that because a lot of people when they come into non-monogamy, they can see themselves in that. So I'm not even gonna disagree with you.
Yeah,
That's why I said
I've been there, bro.
So what they'll do, they'll self-sacrifice and put themselves in a position to open up. They'll self-sacrifice to put
I
themselves.
got caught one time though.
Oh, now it's one time. You see,
You got me, and you called me and mad. And I talked about you on this show. You got me.
Yeah, but no, a lot of people when they come into it, they will self-sacrifice. You know, all who they are and self-betray due to the fact that they want to open this up for the other individual. So I get your doubt. You'll find those individuals that lack self-love in that situation. But when I speak, I'm speaking from a healthy perspective. I'm saying these people understand what they align with. They see themselves saying, hey, you know what, at the end of the day, this type of relationship is for me. But does that happen at the end of the day where the wife sits there and say, I don't want to lose my husband, so I'll allow him to bring somebody else in? Yeah, that does happen. And at the end of the day, that also opens you up to chaos because you're dealing with codependency. And then now you can't even bring structure into your unit because at the end of the day, she's not doing it for genuinely herself. She's lost her self-identity, you know, and at the end of the day, that's not going to help a healthy non-monogamous situation. So does that happen? Yeah. But does it last? No. But I get what you're saying when you say the emptiness of self-love.
So you're saying that the woman is basically
Nice.
compromising herself
Yes.
to
He's
please.
nice.
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got
at times it
PhD
does happen.
polygamy.
If I
I'm telling you.
I got non-monogamy.
Did you go to school for speech or some shit? Because you talking very well. The way he
Hey.
plays vocabulary and his words together, his tone, it's like, yo, he could talk you out of whatever, man.
educate.
That's how you guys
I
Because of
educate.
maturity, there's mind control. The government does this well. You're doing it very well, bro. You're doing it very well. Okay?
That's your people, though. Not
He didn't even know it.
No, I know it.
But
I
the
know
crazy
it.
thing is, right? I wish if I had to choose, I would die right now and be born 100 years from now because in 100 years from now, monogamy will be done. It will be done or on its very last
Years
list.
from now, it's
I
about
know,
to
but
be
I mean,
done.
like, I want it to be
Seems done now to some great degree.
but I want it to be normal.
I feel like people trying to get back in relationships now. It seems like in public.
I think because they pushing these agendas so hard that people started to be like, oh, this moving too fast. It's not. It doesn't seem like it's flowing naturally. It seems like things are just being put in your face purposely on TV and everything.
Facts.
Where now it's confusing people to the point that like maybe something wrong here, and maybe it's just not. Maybe it's just there's an agenda to it for different purposes, and it's not allowing people to be authentic.
I think well, to me, I love that the discussions are getting put out there because at the end of the day, it's not really about to push an agenda, but it's to really pull down that curtain and say at the end of the day, did you choose monogamy by default or is it really your choice?
Which
Correct.
was the agenda.
Correct.
The monogamy was the agenda.
Is it, your choice?
It wasn't the
Is it your
agenda.
choice, Rico, or is it your baby's mama's choice, or you think she's just going with the flow because she
gonna
wants to
ask
be
that.
with you?
I
was
think
gonna ask
that knowing her now, you know, I 100% think it's her going with the flow. Back, if you asked me this in an initial conversation, it was just, you know, she was all right with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I do think that it's right now, unfortunately, I believe that men like myself, we're caught in a time frame where if you are poly and you are valuable, high value, whatever that may mean,
The king.
yeah, a king, you're a king. If you're a king and you are poly, it's shamed upon for you to even get to women, so it's harder for you to do what you really want to do, right? And it's not because they don't want to do it. It's because women fear judgment more than men. And they won't want to be a part of a poly relationship because their mom
In
might say
public,
something,
yeah. Mhm.
their aunt, their sister, their best friend, and then the world. And then, but realistically, they do have the capacity to just be like, all right, I'm okay with my man having another woman wife. You know what I'm saying? But it's all transparent, no lies. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Do you think that she was cool with it when he first talked about it with you because it wasn't reality yet, and y'all didn't have a kid yet, and you wasn't together yet, and she was just going with the flow?
I think
Like,
that
you know what I mean?
I think she knew. See, the thing is, in my life, my mother taught me this, which is the greatest thing, is give everybody the opportunity to know what they're signing up for. And therefore, you are never to blame for whatever is revealed in that process.
You know they sign up for stuff and just still get
Yeah,
mad.
bro. When I go lease a car, I don't read the fine print. I just sign it, drive the car, and I break out, bro. No, come on.
I'm not saying. No, I'm not saying. See, the thing is, I don't care if they get mad. But one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be right. You know what I'm
What
saying?
if you want to be with them though? Like
It's not-
because we crossed those bridges where we've been straightforward with the woman, and you come back and be like, "Why you mad? Like, what's going on? I told you everything. You've been cool with it, and then a couple months down the line, she's just not cool no more."
But that makes me not wrong. See, that's the thing. Like,
But you don't have her no more.
but it don't. But it just means that she was never going to work regardless.
Okay.
And we be trying, and men do this all the time too. We try to mold ourselves to be whatever our wife needs us to be, right? And we start chipping away at our own tree until we fall down. And I'm not doing that for no woman. So I gotta let you know what I am. I gotta let you know who I am, and you get this choice. Yes, do you want to sign up? Yes or no, you don't want to sign up. Now, if you sign up and then change your mind midway, you change your mind midway, but that's cool because I wasn't willing to live the way that you wanted me to live. She just wanted to do that because she didn't like what I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear you.
I do think that my
called
girl
polygamy
is like,
blocking.
I think that women are starting to understand that some men are not going to have one woman, and it doesn't matter what you want. And they're like, okay, cool. What is the give and take in this situation? The give is I get the man that I want. I mean, the take is I get the man that I want. The give is I got to give him the leeway to go do the other thing that he might want to do that I might not agree with.
You think these dudes can really afford it?
No, I said
Do
the
they
kings.
understand about the money that it takes? If you're being honest with two women, you got to take them out. You got to travel with them. You got to make them feel good. You got to definitely spend money on them, spend mad more time. Now you splitting time. It's a lot of work.
I would tell you
if they're not in the house with you.
I don't agree with that. I think that the men who get more than one woman due to finances, those are the women who are just following along
Transactional.
For a transaction.
Why you
That's
say
not
that?
realistic.
What about enjoying each other? If
But
if
because-
I like you and I don't got a lot of money, right? I still want to do things with you. You still need to be taken out to have dinner and show that you're loved. It's still things that you have to pay for. I'm not talking about.
Okay,
I'm
so you're not talking.
I'm not talking about buying bags and taking them on. I'm talking about when you really care about somebody, you go on trips with your wife. You take them, you want them to feel good about themselves. That shit costs money.
And so you have 3 people working. You're talking about one guy who's supplying all the finances for well, I'm talking about 2 women and one guy.
Okay.
You're talking about one guy who's supplying all the finances for 3 adults. Of course, it costs a lot of money, but there's a lot of poly relationships where everybody's brings in money. So now, all right, maybe I pay for this trip, or you pay for the next one, or whatever. Maybe all 3 of us split this trip. Actually, in most cases, things get real cheaper.
But we don't jump into poly though. You're dating before you're jumping into poly. You're spending money. Like, that's all I'm just saying. It's money. No matter what. If I got my wife right now, right, and I'm recruiting a whole nother woman, right, there's things that are going to be spent on her when I'm getting to know her. And while I'm getting to know her and spending things and convincing her to be in my poly life,
$6,000.
I'm still spending money on my wife too. Before we get together and say we're gonna pool our money in our trust. Come on.
But your wife could be.
Money being spent.
And by that time, you might have to pull.
Niggas don't have people. This is what I'm saying. People, you still gotta have money to be a player. Players that don't have money to even spend on other people, right? You're gonna spend it sometime, and then you're a player. You still need money to do these type of things to be outside.
Can you tell him?
So what Rico is saying is that what if everybody in the house each earn $100,000, all 3?
And I that's cool, but what
That's not what he's saying.
That's not what I'm saying.
He's saying the preliminary.
I'm saying the preliminary before we get in the house.
The courting.
The dudes that's having 2 girls when you're trying to recruit before we get in the house.
That might come in.
Before I'm in agreement.
No, before,
I got one woman.
Oh, no, you're talking about
I
one.
got one
I know, but I'm
woman.
just...
Say I got one woman.
And you're
I
doing
know
the
what you
vetting
mean.
portion.
And
I
I
know
want
what
to
you
be
mean.
with that woman too. Right?
Right. I know what you
got my one woman and
You're spending money.
And I'm spending money on her just naturally, not tricking.
Yeah.
Regular life.
Yeah.
I want this woman over here too. In order for me to get to know this woman over here too, she's not just coming to my house with my wife and getting to know us together.
No, I get your point.
Shit.
I get your point.
Just listen for a second.
I get your point. But still, at the end of the day, the household
Just listen for a second.
The household should be
doing
maintained.
shit.
But finances, like, you don't have to be the richest to actually do this situation. Dating is just dating at the end of the day.
Gotta be able to
And,
afford it.
yeah, you could. Just like you gotta afford to
what
take
I'm
out your wife, you should be able to afford to take out anybody else. And sometimes if the wife is supportive of the situation, she may be like, "Hey, yo, make sure you It all depends.
might
And
give you
then the
$100.
other
Woman
woman,
study over here that said when I was on it a year ago, 2 years ago, that 9% of people make $100,000 a year.
15.
Where's the money? 15.
But no, but-
Nine to 15.
but
what I'm saying is, man, look, hey, because there's 3 individuals that work at McDonald's right now. And I don't have nothing against that, but they make average income and they still came together. They know how to maneuver, and when it comes to the dating space, when I'm dating, you don't have to date to spend the most money because now you're leading by the hand that could leave you on the ass.
Exactly.
You're
So
missing the
but-
point. I'm
but
not
I'm
talking
just saying-
about spending. I'm not talking
where
about
he's going.
tricking.
Yeah, I see it too.
Y'all are missing. I'm
No,
not
I'm not-
talking about tricking. When you keep
No,
saying
let's
spending
say
money,
yeah. I got it.
I'm not talking
I got
about
it.
tricking.
Them.
I'm talking about
Maybe
buying
him.
a cloth,
Maybe
a
him.
bag,
Yeah.
or nothing. I'm not
No,
talking about tricking.
but you just talking about
tricking
affording-
out before you're saying when 3 people are together. We're not together
I'm
yet.
talking about the dating portion, though.
I want these 3 people.
All right, so look.
How am
All
I
right,
gonna
so
get,
so
how am I gonna get these 3 people to spend no money?
all right,
Somebody
so
tell me this.
But listen, because you're not
fucking
listening.
wrong.
It's not about not spending no money.
Okay,
right?
no.
You're talking about spending money. Okay, cool. If you want to go with a generic spending money, my courting could cost me $700 and I can get her. Is that spending a lot of money? No.
I didn't say spend a lot of
All right, but who cares? You're saying at the end of the day, right? You're correlating it because you're saying 9% of people make 100,000. Where's the money? So you're talking about insinuating that you're spending lots of money to also
That's
date
not true.
and maintain. But
That's
now
not
what I'm
true.
trying to say is you have a woman who is in agreement with you. Okay, you're not taking on that courting by yourself. So if it
So she's agreeing. So you're telling
So
me.
let
that
me
when you
finish.
meet this
That's what. Let me
woman,
finish.
She's in
Let me
agreement
finish.
with you the first day you meet her.
No, let me
That's what you're telling
finish.
me.
Let me finish.
That's what you're
She
telling
would have
me.
Let
to
me
if you bring
finish.
her in.
You're
Wouldn't she
talking.
have to?
You're
That's not the first
talking.
day.
You're talking about a dude. This is what you said. A dude has a girl right now. He wants one more. Correct.
Okay.
All right. That girl's in agreement with it. Otherwise, he wouldn't be seeking it. He would not. Or we're talking about transparent, correct?
Transparent.
So
yeah.
now, if she's in agreement with it, and it cost me $700 to court this woman for 30 days, right? And she splits it, $350 a person. We all can afford to do that. So it doesn't cost money that is like, okay, most men can't do it. Players got to play. No, because realistically, the difference is the ones that really last was never led by a finance.
Facts.
I got what
Because
you
you
said.
got-
Do you
because
get
you
what
gotta
they said? Because I got it.
Y'all are missing.
Do you
y'all,
get-
No, do you get it?
Y'all are missing a point.
I'm just saying.
not talking
No, I
about
get
it.
being led.
I get
when
it.
When y'all use the language.
I got it.
Listen, when y'all use the
I
language
don't get
of
it.
being led by finance, that leads me to think that you're missing the point because I'm not talking about leading by finance. I'm talking about purely being
Just
able
courting.
to afford it.
Right.
That's it.
I made it.
I'm not,
They get
I'm
it.
not talking about leading, I'm not talking about leading by finance. We're saying McDonald's people, whatever. When I'm talking about, I'm not in this life. So I'm saying if I'm in this life and I'm thinking that I'm the man, all right? I'm not asking my other woman to give me money to court another woman. That's me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But does
If
she
I-
know that
if
you
I-
want to court
no,
another
no.
woman?
If
Does she know?
Even if she does know that I want to court another woman, in my mind, I'm the king of this castle. I got multiple women here. Okay? I'm not. If I gotta come to you for me, this don't could be anybody. Niggas could be comfortable with being broke ass niggas. I'm not. So I'm not coming to my woman and asking her for money to go get another woman. That's not not on my agenda. Why?
Right.
Because I'm a fucking king.
Right.
Kings ain't asking other people for money to go
Right.
get something else.
That's what they said, though.
No,
That's what they
no,
said.
no,
I'm just
hold
saying.
on. I'm just explaining. I'm just explaining.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
My outlook.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I got it.
That's where I'm coming from.
Right.
Y'all keeps acting like I'm out here
Say y'all
trying to
get.
say.
Don't say
Trying to
say
say
y'all
I'm
get.
trying to convince this woman with gifts. I'm not.
So
I'm not.
no,
I'm
that's
the
not
type
what
of
we're
guy.
saying.
I'm the type of guy because when you're saying money, I'm not trying to convince nobody with nothing. In my aspect, if I'm you and
Yeah.
I got 2 women,
Yeah.
I'm not asking my 2 women to pool with me money to go get a third. I'm
That's
just
facts.
not doing that.
But that's you.
No, I know that.
So the examples that we're presenting was just in the fact of at the end of the day, it's not all about can I afford this. You can be creative with any type of date, and it cannot cost you a penny. So to vet a person is to know a person. At the end of the day, I want to study see if you're the right fit for each other.
I don't know no
but-
dates that don't cost a penny though.
No, I'm just saying if you're creative
Just
enough,
keeping it
I'm just
real.
saying.
sit on the bench like Forrest Gump.
but-
You still gotta go get something to eat, ice cream or something.
Yeah, no,
like
no.
that.
I'm just saying, like, if you're
You
creative
still buy
enough,
something.
I'm just trying to take the.
You gotta ride there. You gotta get your car. You gotta get to the bench.
I just try to take the financial aspect out of it. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Affordability is what you're saying.
Yeah,
That's all I'm
affordability.
saying.
Yeah,
That's
you
all
do.
I'm
You
saying.
gotta make sure you stay within your means.
Yeah, that's all, and that's all
yeah.
I'm talking about. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about.
Yeah, but
because
so
there
you
are
got to
not a lot of
realize that
people-
you want to do extravagant things, so it's hard for you to fathom it. Not every girl requires it.
I could stay at home and do nothing if I
No,
had
no.
six women.
You gotta get. You
I gotta
gotta.
go to Miami.
No, you gotta go
Look,
get.
I'm staying home with my two women.
If you staying home, that don't cost a penny.
But they're not there yet.
Nah,
You're talking about before the preliminary. So that's why, yeah. Once you get it
Once
makes
you
sense.
get it, then
But
I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm talking about just
facts.
get. I was purely asking a question. I wasn't trying to be like
Yeah.
judgmental.
That was a long question.
realistically, there's an
And
app
Dave
for
got
that.
both sides.
That's what I want to know.
there's
Man,
an-
interview process. Now you now
Yeah.
you're talking some spill to me because
that's-
it's an
but
interview
there's a-
process and that's different.
So there's a poly app, right?
Yeah.
There's a poly app where you already know what that person subscribes to, whether it's whatever form of poly,
Yeah.
right? There's multiple different. So when you are on this app, you already know that they are into whatever you're into, right? So now there's already a comfort. There's no convincing that needs to be done. You know what I'm
Is
saying?
that where you find them at though? Because I'm thinking you might see if that's the case. I fully understand. I'm under the understanding of Rico might just see somebody.
No.
You follow what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
she's not on no poly app. Rico's out in California and he's popping right now. And you having a one-on-one with this girl and you like, yo, I got a baby mama at home. What's popping? That's where I'm coming from with
But
it.
those don't last those. And I had to be realistic
Okay.
with myself. Because
Okay.
she's only with me because of what I'm doing, not who I am. So and what I can provide, right? So yeah, maybe I'm popping and I'm lit. Okay, I can afford to do this, right? Or you have something beneficial that you can leave this with. Right, I can take you from 0 and bring you to 50, and you can walk out higher than what you came in as, right? Because I'm that person with this stature or status, whatever the case may be. But what I'm seeing and what I'm learning, a lot of the people who are really poly, not poly because of power, right? There's a big difference.
Gotcha.
Poly because of power versus poly because of preference, right? When they're poly because of preference, it doesn't cost as much. You don't need as much as the people who are poly because of power. You know what I'm saying?
Understood.
broke that
It's
down.
a
Is that
lifestyle.
certified?
It's
Not I broke that down. That,
it's a lifestyle. It's a follow. I'm not gonna say cult, but it's like it's a different. I don't want to say cult.
Don't say
It's a
cold.
love style. It's a love
Because
style.
if it
It's
gets
a love
bigger-
style.
Listen.
because now that's why I'm glad that I said what I said because I wasn't looking at it like
But
that.
that- yeah.
I'm looking at it like you might not be poly. So if you got an app and we all know we poly and we this type of poly, then we having a whole different conversation.
Yeah, we have
Then
apps.
then we are taking applications and stuff like that. Like, yo, what's going on? But I'm thinking, I'm looking at Rico and I know him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, yo, you got a pretty girl at home. I don't think Rico is on a poly app.
Not
That's
yet.
how I'm thinking.
Not
I'm
yet.
thinking
no.
Rico and me and Rico talk. So I'm thinking Rico was like, he might see somebody be like, she don't know she poly, but
I'm gonna make her poly.
There you go.
No,
And if I'm gonna
no.
make her poly, right? I gotta spend
That costs
time.
money.
There you go.
So and that's been
That's
the
all I was
that-
saying.
that-
That's all I
It's
was
a
saying.
conversion.
You
It's a
gotta
conversion.
spend
You trying to
time
you
with
should
her.
you turn it yo.
There
Okay.
you go.
She said you gotta turn her out.
I'm saying use the vocabulary this nigga uses.
Don't put that. Don't do that to me.
Where's it going?
Don't do that.
Solo what?
A solo poly. Look, that's a whole other cat. But no, at the end of the day, yeah, we have events. We have Polypalooza every year. You know what I mean? Where we
Polypalooza.
I got
gather.
invited, by the way.
Yeah,
Polypalooza.
no, it's
Texas.
major. Yeah, it's
Yep.
major out there. You know what I mean? We come through as a community.
Polypalooza.
You can connect with a like-minded
Temptations in
individual.
Cancun.
You can never force somebody or convince somebody to try to live the lifestyle that you choose, right? Because at the end of the day, it's gonna be chaotic, and that's even with monogamy. You can't convince someone that has different ideas of relationship.
But
You
wasn't you introduced to it at one time, though? You wasn't always poly.
No, you know what's crazy? I didn't even know I was doing it. I didn't know what it is.
but
and that was
you was introduced to
yeah.
it, kind of, right?
And at the end of the day, it was chaotic because I didn't have the tools and the practice to understand it. Man, there was a photo I shared on Instagram. It is when we sleep. Both my wives are on me like this, and people are like goals, and that's so dope. They didn't realize We had argued and we were dysfunctional for 2 weeks. We were exhausted from all the arguments, and we were gonna watch a movie when we found peace and balance in our household. That was a picture that I took because they were both on me. Like, man, after 2 weeks of fighting, you know what I mean?
Thank God we're
we
here.
just tired.
I'd rather
And
fight with
everybody-
2 women for 2 weeks than one, because I do that right now. So like
But yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, but
I do that right
I
now.
don't want to talk about that. I'm going home. I don't want to close that one out right there.
But yeah, no, and that's what the investments of the relations look like. They're not just shortcoming. At the end of the day, you really give into these relationships with the multiple individuals because we're trying. So it's not convincing somebody, because when you're putting yourself in a position to convince, you're stuck at convincing. Well, I thought you wanted this. I thought you wanted that. You know what I mean? I thought you knew this what it was. No, we were having real arguments, the real fights and the real balances, and then exchanging energy from one relationship to the other because we were all engaged with each other. It's different.
I must say, every time I hear you talk, I get enlightened.
I'll tell you, he's bringing you into the poly cult. That's going to be a poly religion soon.
I've been enlightened.
I'm bringing you the truth.
You know what I'm saying?
This go date non-monogamous, goddamn.
Super chat.
Yo, so you know what? Listen, thank you for joining us at 8 at the Table. We want to shout out Alex here for educating us and schooling us on the polygamy thing and using very extreme vernacular that confused me to a great degree here. Shout outs to Rico.
Yeah, man.
Eso. And listen, like and subscribe. 8 at the Table. We're here. Guy Talk. That's what we do.
Facts.
Hey.